Told you about Matthew Cleveland and the numbers he's put up for. Leonard Hamilton, what a career. 21st year as the head coach of the Noles, looking for win number 400 as an ACC coach. And overall, Mike, looking for his 600th career victory at the college ranks.
And he's had a theme throughout that all, Tom, and he's had very tall teams. This is the third tallest team in the nation. They're kind of sneaky tall, but nobody on the roster is shorter than 6'5".
Now, they are young as well. Overwhelmingly, the youngest team that Leonard has put on the floor is the head coach of the Noles.
And this is the defense that Georgia Tech's going to give you multiple looks. And look how active they are in their space.
Trying to work it inside, and that one will drop in. So nice roll for Cleveland to get us started.
The thing is that it's a lot shorter bench due to injuries than Leonard Hamilton normally uses, so you're going to see guys in the high 30s absent foul trouble.
Three-pointer from the corner, and there is the three from Miles Kelly.
Yeah, 40%, and he's just been on a roll. His numbers in ACC play really good overall, just about 18 points a game.
Georgia Tech made 9 threes in the win on Wednesday against number 12 Miami, 76-70. They shot 41% as a team. Inside of 10 on the shot clock for the Noles. From the baseline, comes up short from Cleveland. Second effort, and that'll fall.
Tim, you look at the guy and you say, how's he averaging a double-double? And there's an example of it right there. Just has a nose for the ball. He's 6'7", doesn't overwhelm you physically, but always knows where the ball is.
Big game on the schedule for Cleveland. He is from Atlanta, Georgia. And that jumper, that's Kelly again.
Same spot. How about I'm going to run there until I miss.
Florida State is 4-11 as a team on the season, and that'll work from the corner for three. Corrin hits it.
Just his fourth of the year. 3 of 18 coming in, and but they're going to need some outside production. But this Florida State team is not a big part of their offense.
Most recent game for FSU was last Saturday at number 16 Duke in a loss 86-67. They only made 4 threes in that game against the Blue Devils. Moore's turnaround, soft touch.
And that's one thing Josh Pastner talked about in the offense, getting post touches. This Florida State team is going to switch everything, and Georgia Tech plays a Princeton-style offense, but they want to look inside out.
Jalen Moore hit double digits in the win against Miami with 10 points and 6 boards. And he goes up for that rebound.
So right now is Florida State not getting a lot outside of that offensive rebound. And wow. Debo Coleman.
He was in rhythm. And Coleman, who shoots 33% from beyond the arc, made 2 threes in the win against Miami on 8 tries.
And that board really describes Georgia Tech's offense in the first 3 minutes here, in rhythm.
Worley inside, double team. Second effort from Corrin, falling away.
Yeah, Howard on the block initially.
Great save by Kelly. Georgia Tech, Mike, has not missed so far. 4 of 4, and that includes 3 three-point baskets. Kelly reversing field and laying it in.
Just really putting it all on display here. A couple of threes to start off with, and then a great drive inside.
So Miles Kelly, who leads the team, averaging 14.5 points per game. That pass deflected. Coleman comes up with it. Georgia Tech just completed a 4-game homestand with the win against Miami.
And that win with this lineup, Josh Pastner went deep into the first half before he made a substitution. No reason for him to change here.
8 points for Kelly so far. Wants to add to the total, and he will. Long-range three-pointer, Miles Kelly.
And Corrin, and Leonard Hamilton couldn't wait for. He had a timeout coming under 16 and just wanted to stop the run right there. But how about Miles Kelly? What a start to the afternoon for him. He got the early wake-up call, and 2 in that same spot from the left corner. And he got really great looks on these, Tom.
How about the lead for Georgia Tech built early? 16-7 on the road. The road early in the first half against the Seminoles. Miles Kelly, a big reason why, has not missed so far today and has connected on all 3 of his three-point attempts. 11 points for Miles Kelly. That's now 10 straight games. Double-figure scoring after 20 points on Wednesday against Miami, Mike. And that takes us right to the 4 keys to the game. Jackets and Knowles.
Yeah, and Josh Pastner talked about limit the live ball turnovers. You don't want those things out front. He wants as many dead ball turnovers as possible. And for Florida State, it's a changing zone. It's a little different than anything they're going to see. And so far, stymied a little bit with it in the half court.
You know, Florida State has missed its last 3 shot opportunities. Georgia Tech is on a 7-0 run and leading 16-7.
They have not been able, Florida State has not been able to get inside of this zone.
Mills sends it into the corner. Green, shot clock at 8. Worley straight away. He's got 3.
That's a good way to loosen things up. Not a great three-point shooter either. We've seen 2 guys who don't have great averages knock those down, but Georgia Tech, this zone is more compact than it was against Miami, Tom, and I think they're gonna try and test Florida State to knock down threes.
For Florida State, good to see Worley hitting that 3. Struggled against Duke. Just 3 points and 4 rebounds in 29 minutes as a starter. Shot clock's down to 3. Moore was spinning. The whistle goes against Georgia Tech.
Offensive foul at that time on Jalen Moore inside.
Alley-oop attempt in traffic knocked away from Cleveland.
Good read that time by Rodney Howard in the back of the zone. We saw that Miami tried to go to that early in the first half, that lob over the zone inside.
Well, Josh Pastner throws so many different defensive looks at you. It was a concern of Jim Larinagan, and sure enough, it happened during the course of the game.
And it changed. You got Kelly out front. It's a one-man front, and then they go back into a 2-3, and it just morphs into different things.
Worley with the shot clock inside of 10, trying to thread it to Cleveland. That was kicked. Shot clock reset to 20 with 14:24 in the game clock. Georgia Tech is 8-6 overall. They had mixed up the lineup until today, where they went with the same lineup from Wednesday in the victory against Miami. And the 76 points, the most in an ACC game early on in the schedule for Georgia Tech.
3 losses in the 50s scoring.
Angular rebound to Worley. Front rim. Georgia Tech comes away with it and more.
Well, and the one thing this zone has done is cut down on Cleveland's touches.
In a congested area and a foul.
And this is where Lance Terry, we talked about his game against Miami, 24 points for him, a season high, 2 off a career high. But he got really involved when he was able to get out and run the open floor, and he had a nice look ahead that time.
So Lance Terry, the 24 points, just 2 below his career high of 26. He is a transfer from Gardner-Webb, where he spent 3 years in that program.
And I think you talk to the coaches, and it's you know, you come from that program, and this is not a slight in any way, but to catch up to the size and speed of athletes in the ACC, it's taken him a little while, but he certainly caught up against Miami.
Well, he only had a high of 9 points in ACC play prior to the game Wednesday against Miami, but
Tom, 3 games total, 18 points.
Yeah. So Lance Terry found the right chemistry with his teammates, and that is a 3. Caleb Mills.
Right now, you're getting some threes from unexpected places, but that's good news for Florida State.
Mills with his 10th 3 of the season. Howard had nowhere to go. Terry is wide open for a 3-pointer. Doesn't get the bounce. Howard offensive glass. And there is a player shaken up for Georgia Tech as well.
Jalen Moore on the other side of that, but nice offensive rebounding position by Howard. look, and he just got inside of everybody. 4 white jerseys around him, and he comes up with the ball.
So there was no foul on the play. Inadvertent whistle. Our officials, Bill Covington Jr., Jeffrey Clark, and Trey Styons.
That's ridiculous.
Kelly.
I mean, that was from like 30 feet on a direct pass inbounds. I think they're going to have to extend out a little bit on number 13.
He is 4 for 4 from three-point distance. That'll creep over the front rim for Darin.
Just as good. How about the quick steal by Cleveland? Just great anticipation. Georgia Tech getting a little casual with that ball.
Lead down to 4 for Georgia Tech.
That happened so fast, I don't even know if the crowd understood what happened.
Yeah, Kelly, he hits another one in the lane.
Right now, Georgia Tech has missed 1 shot as a team. And Mr. Kelly's perfect. 16 already.
So Kelly has made 4 3-pointers. That's just 1 below his career high for threes in a game with 5. Darin back iron. A one-handed rebound from Jalen Moore, who leads this team in rebounding, almost 6 per game for Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech finished that game against Miami on a 12-0 run. Miles Kelly picking up where he left off from Wednesday. That was tapped by Mills somehow. Went over to Moore with the shot clock winding down, and he was fouled deep into the shot clock. So free throws coming up for Georgia Tech. And Miles Kelly is 6 for 6 and 4 for 4 from beyond 22 feet, 1 3/4 inches away. Kelly, 16 points to lead everybody in the first half.
No matter who you root for, we can all identify with the best in smart home security. CPI. Ring in the new year with CPI, and we'll include your choice of 3 free smart security devices. CPI Security. Identify yourself.
At Domino's, we're tipping you $3 for order.
And today, 5 of 6 on threes for Georgia Tech. They only average about 6.5 threes per game, Mike.
And for Florida State, that's not bad. 3 of 5. I mean, that's terrific for them, and that's what's keeping them close. But see, we talk about Florida State, as young as they are. Normally, Leonard Hamilton would have gone to his bench 4 minutes ago, and the same 5 guys have been in the game this whole time. He will now bring in, come in with Naheem McLeod. A couple of fresh bodies out on the floor, but this much later than he would normally substitute.
Meanwhile, Miles Kelly is 6 of 6 from the floor and 16 points. Moore is at the free throw line for Georgia Tech. .72% as a team, 12th in the conference. You would not know it from their previous game against Miami. They only missed 2, and that was right at the end of the game. They went 17 of 19 as a team against the Canes from the free throw line.
And that's been a strength for Florida State. Their free throw shooting has been much better in conference, but they've yet to get there in this game.
82% in the last 2 games from the line for Florida State.
It's one of the first paint touches they've gotten by throwing it into McLeod, who's 7'4".
That bounces to Coleman. Terry, quick first step. Pass McLeod. Did well not to foul him. It spins off. Green thought about 3.
Nice transition defense that time. Florida State was really looking to get an easy basket, and they had to pull it out.
They got a 3. Caleb Mills. Second 3 of the game for Mills.
Hamilton talked to him yesterday at practice. He felt like his team would shoot pretty well today. far pretty prescient from the three-point line anyway. Here's the look inside. That's the nice swing, and even that zone as active as it was, that's a very clean look that Mills got.
Mills picked up the foul on the other end to send Coleman to the free throw line for Georgia Tech. House comes in for Florida State. Worley will leave.
And these are the first substitutions for Georgia Tech. The 10-minute mark in this half.
All right, Howard is leaving the game for Georgia Tech. Smith is set to check in for the Yellow Jackets with Coleman at the free throw line.
Also on the sideline, and one of the most intriguing Yellow Jackets, and Tristan Maxwell is going to come into the game.
Didn't play the last 2 games. That's an alley-oop to Cleveland, who banks it.
And Josh Pastner, this started with Miami, and he will go quickly to a timeout if he feels things slipping.
So after the Cleveland bucket, it's a 4-point game again with 10:28 to go in the first.
Well, and he's been lingering in the back of that zone looking for this. He seals the guy on the backside, and that's a nice pass. Good delivery by Tom House.
Cleveland's got 8 points, 4 or 5 from the floor.
Very quiet 8 points, but that's how he is. I mean, he's a very, quiet player.
Right in the middle of that huddle. Matthew Cleveland, the sophomore from Atlanta, Georgia, had the double-double in the loss at Duke in their most recent game with 18 points and 10 boards, 7th career double-double. And they're going to get a look at Tristan Maxwell, and also Mike.
Yeah, son of Vernon Maxwell, played at Florida. And then was on the championship team with the Rockets. I played against him at the end of my career. Kind of the heart of his career. As he was walking off right after their pre-shoot around, he hit a 3 from half court. I just happened to be watching him, and he's had games of South Alabama or Alabama State at 18 points in that game, knocked down a bunch of threes. Let's see if he heats up here a little bit.
Yeah, that was a season high. He has made 6 threes in total on the year. Seeing action in his 11th game. Just the game against Virginia with illness. Did not play against Miami. Miles Kelly with a twisting shot.
Defense has stiffened up on him a lot since that quick start.
First miss for Miles Kelly. House. McLeod. He's got a long reach, but not long enough. I thought Davon Smith was also a nice spark, Mike, in the second half for Georgia Tech against Miami.
Yeah, he had some big baskets down the stretch. Offensive rebound put back.
Junior from Loganville, Georgia, the transfer from Mississippi State. The scoop, no good. Kelly hit the deck, and it is Florida State basketball.
We got a taller cover on Kelly. He's having to force his offense a little bit.
Georgia Tech is led by as many as 9 in this first half. Sturdivant coming in for Georgia Tech. Kelly out, getting a breather, has missed his last 2 shots. 16 points. Leads all scorers. Kyle Sturdivant, the senior from Norcross, Georgia, into the lineup for the Yellow Jackets. Taking away Lance Terry. Terry hadn't scored prior to that 3.
Nice to see a guy get rewarded. He had a good defensive play on one end, and then he's going to run to the 3-point line in transition.
39% from the 3-point atmosphere for Lance Terry. He made 4 out of 5 on 3-pointers in the win against Miami. He led the way with 24 points on Wednesday. It was at home. Steal from Georgia Tech.
2 turnovers on 2 plays.
Terry had a steam, tough angle. Follow came up short, right at the edge of the rim for Franklin. And now Cleveland the pull-up. That's also front rim. Maxwell. End-to-end action, and Cleveland wants to slow it up just a bit. Maybe not. McLeod inside, and that spun out.
An offensive, all right, goaltending, good call.
Official Trey Styons was all over that. So McLeod gets credit for the basket.
That's been another staple of Leonard Hamilton. Normally, I mean, McLeod's got to be lonely. He's the only 7-footer on the team right now. Normally, he's got 2 or 3.
Last year, Mike, they had Engom and Butler, a couple of 7-footers. Quincy Ballard was in the lineup as well. Georgia Tech with the basketball. And the traveling Old Gold. One of their last 7 from the floor. They started 8 of 9. Shot clock at 10 for Maxwell. Over House. Loud the clearance.
He's certainly given himself a chance to score. He's come in and been very aggressive in looking for his offense. But everything is, since that start, things have been off the dribble for Georgia Tech. They haven't gotten many good looks.
McLeod just reaching up for that one and slamming it down.
A couple of turnovers. They threw a lob too low to him, and they're finally dialing in the range at 7'4". He's going to be able to go up above the rim and get it at the top of the box.
Averages just over 4 points per game for Naeem McLeod, junior from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. The miss from Smith. Catch, release, and misfire from Green. Maxwell tries to fill the lane and find Franklin, and it came to Mills. Green is their best three-point shooter, 22 and white with the basketball, 43%. The body of work coming into this game, second of the conference. McLeod trying to force his way against Franklin with the bump. And McLeod using his size on the inside. Mills just kind of puts it up there, and it hit the backboard. And McLeod adjusting to it. Perfect look. There's the angle. And the double-fisted rim rocker from McLeod. Let's go! You go for the smart choice in tires. The Tucker Center and the Noles trailing in the first half with 6:51 to go, 29-26 to the visiting Yellow Jackets. Time for Fresh Market. Discover the best. Presented by the Fresh Market. And it's Darin Green Jr. Mike, he shot it well, but not today so far in ACC play.
No, well, you see 45% from 3, and but at 0 of 4 so far against the zone has not found the range yet. But one guy we haven't talked about is Cameron Fletcher, out now with an injury, and he was their other big three-point threat. So that's a big hit for this team to try to overcome that. And a couple of guys have stepped up, but we talked about Matthew Cleveland. That's not a real part of his game.
Yeah, Darin Green Jr. had 16 points in the loss at Duke in their most recent game for the Noles. You mentioned Fletcher, Mike, the injury in early December at Virginia, the right knee, and out for the season for Cameron Fletcher, the sophomore from St. Louis, Missouri.
He had 23 points early on against Mercer, double figures 6 of his 10 games that he played, averaging about 12 when he got hurt.
That's deflected by Smith and out of bounds. So Fletcher, unfortunately, a spectator. He was a double-digit scorer.
Yep.
Led him in rebounding. But again, out for the season with a right knee injury. Suffered in early December at Virginia.
That's just losing all that production, but also shortening the bench and other guys having to pick up those minutes.
There's Green, had another chance and still can't discover the best
and I'll tell you,
beyond the arc.
Since he's come in the game, McLeod has impacted this game. They've cut things off inside, or defensively.
Miles Kelly is back into the lineup. Worley for Florida State. Kelly, who made his first 6 shots, and that included 4 3-pointers. Georgia Tech shooting 50% as a team right now, and 75% from beyond the arc 6 of 8 as a team. 4 of those belong to Kelly.
Well, and the other good thing is only 3 turnovers so far, so they're taking care of the ball.
Into the corner, Lance Terry.
Nice look. Everybody drawn in. That's where he's going to get it on those cross-court passes against this defense that closes out pretty quickly.
Second three-pointer for Terry. Made 4 of them against Miami. Now he tries to guard Worley. Shot clock at 10 for Florida State. Down to 5. Cleveland. The fake produces contact. We'll go to the free throw line.
6-7 again, but inside, uses the pump fake well. Had Howard, got him up in the air, and just an old man's game, and I mean that with all due respect.
So Howard picking up his first personal. Cleveland at the free throw line. 76% of the season, and we have a moment now. Let's get a message from Coyote Tractor.
Experience, if you work the land, you got to be a jack of all trades. You got to have a little bit of optimism and a whole lot of get-go.
Smith wants to run it back the other way, finds Coleman launching a 3. Rattles out to Mills. And then we had a collision, McLeod and Smith.
Smith took the worst of it, and he's going to get called for the foul. He's kind of running back, and he was trying to, it looked like he was trying to get in front to get to Mills, and just got in the way of McLeod. McLeod ran him over.
First on Smith. Florida State 4-4 this season on its home floor. 2-0 in ACC play. Wins against Notre Dame and Louisville, both in December. That's Cleveland again.
And see, if they can get him the ball, I think he's a terrific option in the middle of that zone, just below the free throw line. The ability to score there, he can make some plays as well, but they've got to get him touches there.
Coming off the double-double at Duke. Cleveland was 10 of 10 from the free throw line in that double-double against Duke. Team leader in points per game. Almost 7 rebounds per game as well. So technically, with Fletcher on the bench, leading the team in that category as well. 5 double-doubles in his last 8 games for Matthew Cleveland. And as you mentioned, Mike, that's what he does in ACC play early on in the schedule. Averages a double-double against ACC opponents.
Yeah, and also, I mean, how many, 4 straight now, 6 men of the year for Leonard Hamilton, because of that bench guys coming off, and they're, they put up big numbers, but he's continued to improve and has turned into a terrific starter, all ACC caliber.
Now, they own that award over the last 4 years. Shot clock at 10 for Georgia Tech. We're inside of 5 minutes to go in the first half, and Smith fumbles it out of bounds right into the Florida State bench.
Just lost concentration. He was looking to see what he was going to do with the ball before he caught it. But, again, it's a dead ball turnover, and you get to come back and set up your defense.
Fourth turnover of the half for Georgia Tech. Florida State's won 3 of its last 5 games. They went 1-9 to start the season. Cleveland. Worley.
Well, here's the thing, and this zone has really locked in on Darin Green, and he is a little out of sorts right now.
Tough shot from Smith.
Good job defensively. But it's going to be interesting to see that they've locked in on him, and I think they're going to continue to test Florida State's other 3-point shooters.
First points for Davon Smith. Cleveland on a rim bender from Mills.
Done a nice job finding him in the back of that zone. A couple of lobs now.
Quick shot from Kelly at the other end, Mike.
I think he wants to regain the rhythm he had early on in the half.
Mills with a wide open 3. McLeod, the one-handed rebound. That pass stolen by Coleman. Kelly trying to get it back to Smith. A foul called against Florida State. That'll be Worley picking up his first. The alley-oop from Mills to the leaping Matthew Cleveland. Great look from behind the backboard. It's a 4-point game.
COVID issues, but hey, you know, that's the draw that's ahead of you, and they took care of business in the final.
Yeah, they defeated Miami at the tournament as well, and then the forfeit against Virginia, got to the title game. Here's our game summary. 34-30. Georgia Tech took the lead at 8-7. And they led by as many as 9. It was just in the first 3 minutes of the game where Georgia Tech took the lead. And they haven't given it up. Florida State hanging in there against the Georgia Tech team, Mike, shooting 50%.
Florida State a lot more active, especially in the zone, denying every pass.
Terry just did get it away. And then Cleveland pulls it in.
That was a nice defensive stand by Florida State, their best of the game so far.
That win in the title game for Georgia Tech. On Wednesday, it was the first time they'd beaten a top 25 team since that title game, with their victory against Miami, number 12 in the nation this week. That's a 3 out of the corner from Caleb Mills. Third 3-point basket of the game, and it's a 1-point difference.
Yeah, and just good patience by Florida State after that quick start. Just methodically have worked their way back into the game, doing it from the 3-point line.
Mills, Mike, had only made 9 threes all season. Cleveland taps it. Green is able to grab it, and they're doing it, Mike, without Green scoring. He's 0 for 5. Yep. They've all been 3-point tries.
No, just on this end of the floor, Georgia Tech they're really locked in on number 22.
Cleveland lofting it to McLeod. He put it on the floor, got away with it, scored the basket in the foul, and Florida State is in front with 2:01 to go in the first half.
Tell you, Naheem McLeod has really made a difference. They're just you can throw wherever you want to up there. And he is a head taller than anybody that Georgia Tech has out on the floor right now. But that was a nice finish in the half court for the big fella from Philly.
First Florida State lead since it was 7-6 early in this half. From 7'6" to 7'4", standing on the free throw line.
Just to show his impact. Got 22 blocks in 220 minutes on the floor, so you can do that, parse it out over 40 minutes. It's 4 blocks a game.
Just his 7th made free throw of the season gives Florida State a 2-point lead. Inside of 2 minutes to go in our first half of play. 77th all-time meeting. Georgia Tech is working on a 3-game winning streak in the series overall. Shot clock inside of 10 for Kelly. He's cooled off considerably from his hot start. And there is an offensive foul.
That's just really nice man-to-man defense by Caleb Mills out front. Watch this, just anticipates him going to the left hand, steps over. It's just been a different Florida State offense, or defense, I'm sorry, in the last 12 minutes.
So Kelly to the Georgia Tech bench. Florida State is on a 14-5 run to take the 2-point lead, and stepping on the sideline was Mills, and official Bill Covington right on top of that, and Georgia Tech is going to take a timeout. 1:29 to go in the first half. And again, Leonard Hamilton seeking his 600th career win as a college head coach. Let's step aside for a moment with the Noles in front of the Yellow Jackets.
Where will your new Chevy take you this year? Anywhere. Find new experiences. Find new roads. Well-qualified buyers get 2.99% financing on all 2022 Silverado 1500 pickups, or get $2,500 total cash allowance on this Silverado with a 2.7-liter engine. Plus, current competitive owners get an additional $750 cash allowance.
The atmosphere starting to heat up inside of the Tucker Center, with the Noles coming back to take the lead here late in the first half.
Done in 3 areas defensively. And we got coming up with driven with Leonard Hamilton.
Yeah. Great conversation.
A little preview you had with him.
Always great to talk with Coach Hamilton. What are the other 2 things, Mike, you were touching upon?
The points in the paint, 18-6 right now in favor of Florida State. The McLeod coming in, having a big impact there. And then Florida State 3-point shooting, a little unexpected.
Florida State 5 of 13 as a team in threes. Moore took a try at a 3. Franklin fighting with Cleveland and McLeod and Mills. Florida State comes away with it. McLeod 3 for 3 from the floor, 7 points. And the average is about 4 per game. Bonus offense. And now the final 45 seconds of our first half. So glad that you're with us. Wormy, Jaminski, and our outstanding ACC production crew.
By himself picking up for Green what he would have done in a half.
Cleveland ripping the ropes for Florida State. "15 points to lead the way in the first half. Wide open Coleman, easy 2.
It's one of the first Princeton-style offense baskets they've gotten. That back cut, he was wide open.
Cleveland is 6 of 8 from the floor.
Offensive foul on McLeod.
So with 6.7 seconds to go in the half, Georgia Tech will get the ball back.
Yeah, maybe a chance for a little mini run here. They had the basket. They get the turnover here.
Yeah, Florida State had gone on a 14-5 run to take the lead, their first since early in the half. Sturdivant runs it up. He'll take the 3, 3 feet behind the line, and miss. So Florida State connects on 6 threes. Cleveland made 1 of them. He has 15 points to lead the way, and it's Miles Kelly with 16 points for Georgia Tech, but he cooled off considerably.
He is maybe Rodney Howard. He's got 2 fouls, didn't play a ton in that first. Early on, it was very good. But if McLeod comes back in, they're going to need his size. I think that Franklin was a little overwhelmed by McLeod at 7'4".
Same starting lineups are back on the floor for Georgia Tech and Florida State. Rodney Howard has not scored for Georgia Tech. That's a driving Miles Kelly who hit the deck. All kinds of contact. It'll be Terry for Georgia Tech picking up the foul.
Well, you know, we talked about it a little ironically. He's trying to get restarted, but Kelly didn't score in the last 10 minutes of the first half, so he was aggressive looking for a drive early on here.
Worley on the inbounds. That was the first foul on Terry.
And nobody, only this Howard with 2 is the only person really of note who's in any trouble for Georgia Tech.
Up by the rim, Coleman went to get it, went out of bounds, and it. First indication,
yeah, it is.
Yeah, was Georgia Tech, and now it's been changed. Bill Covington Jr.
Yeah, he came in and just the science. Trey pointed the wrong way.
It's all right. It happens to the best of us. He's joined by Jeffrey Clark and Trey Styons, our officiating crew.
And right. Josh Pastner didn't like the overrule, but it was a good call.
Cleveland came up short despite scoring 15 points in the first half, the most in the first half this season for Cleveland. Terry missed, so did Howard, so did Moore. Early Cleveland, touch pass inside. The turnaround came off in the attempt, but they follow it up. Corin had a little trouble.
Yeah, he kind of threw his hands up. I think he just wanted a stat stuffer to get the offensive rebound and put back. But it was a nice pass to initiate that sequence.
Coleman on the handle for Georgia Tech. Jackets at 40% for the game. started making 5 of their first 6 3-point tries. On the baseline, the feed from Terry to Moore, and he got fouled in midair, mind you.
And again, that a product of the Princeton offense, the back cut along the baseline.
Sikorin just picked up his 3rd personal, Mike, for Florida State.
Yeah, but that may be bad news for Georgia Tech if they come back in when McLeod is at the scorer's table.
After the make from Moore, let's get a message from Coyote Tractor.
In my experience, if you work the land, you got to be a jack of all trades. You got to have a little bit of optimism and a whole lot of get-go.
McLeod back into the lineup for Florida State. 7 points in the first half, Mike. 3 of 3 from the floor from McLeod. And now Moore is 4 of 4 from the free throw line. Cleveland trying to get free. Somehow able to put that one up on the rim.
That's the thing. We talked about, you know, old man's type of game, just creating space for himself.
And he was telling McLeod, don't run me up.
Yeah, run back down the other end of the floor.
Get back defensively.
I'm a sophomore. I can get up.
By the way, yeah, I was going to say the old man is a sophomore.
Yeah.
Runner from Terry misses.
Well, on this team, he is an old man.
I mean, with the additional COVID year, Mike, and redshirt years, players stick around these days and change programs. Just trying to keep it all straight.
Here, look at this. See, look how he creates a shot right there. Almost, you know, maybe got a foul, and here he goes. He's like, go, 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 go. I got this.
Great replay just to illustrate the teamwork between the two.
Yeah, get your 7'4" self back down in the paint.
Green, shot clock winding down. He's in the box score.
And that was a massive shot for him. You know, you're a big-time scorer like that, you throw a 0 up at halftime, and you're just waiting for that first basket.
Terry, shot clock at 10. Kelly. Moore preserving the possession.
See, you know, with McLeod in there, he couldn't go back up with the offensive rebound.
Holman fires a 3.
Maybe a timeout zone if they score.
7-point lead, Florida State. Green. Green got it back in the corner. See McLeod trying to establish position. Tapped by Worley, and that goes out of bounds back to Georgia Tech. Yellow Jackets have missed their first 6 shots of the half. They got a couple of free throws, and now Smith will join the fray for the Yellow Jackets. Remember, they made 8 of their first 9 shots in the first half. And 5 of 6 from 3. Only made 2 3-pointers since. Again, they haven't been away from Atlanta in almost a month. Last away game December 10th at North Carolina. Terry on the drive.
He really has been aggressive in going at McLeod, and that's what you have to do against a shot blocker. But, you know, for right now, if you're Florida State, you want to drive him off the 3-point line and make him score inside if he can.
So Terry joins Kelly as double-digit scorers for Georgia Tech. And now 3 of 9 from the floor for Lance Terry. Worley's offline. Terry goes high for the board. Mills trying to close on Kelly. Just a little isolation there for a moment.
It's just a little too much dribbling right now for Kelly.
Trying to beat McLeod, dribbled it into the floor and lost it.
Yeah, he had a mind to make that happen.
What a catch by Cleveland on the pass from Mills. Timeout on the court. How about the pass from Caleb Mills to Cleveland, ahead of the field. Great hustle in 2 and a 7-point lead.
It's bow time. That's not a phone in your pocket.
It's South, presented by your local Ford dealer.
Florida State at 50% shooting for the game, and the advantage on the boards as well, 24-18. And that man, number 35, is 1 rebound away, Mike, from his 5th straight double-double.
Just a great knack for the ball, you know, and where he sets up offensively, done a lot on the baseline. They've gotten some lobs to him. His mid-range game is good. He has a knack for getting on the glass.
He's tied his career high with 8 made field goals for Matthew Cleveland. His career high in points is 23. More baseline, strong move. Green rips it down.
So even there, I mean, you're looking for McLeod to see where he is. He affected that shot.
Green got it back. Coleman pulls it in. Surveys the landscape. Pass was tipped by Green. Mills up ahead to Green, and he'll lay it in.
That was, you talked about Josh Pastner wanted to limit the pick sixes. That was a lazy pass by Coleman that led you turn it over there against Florida State, it's going to be 2 points.
Howard with the ball for Georgia Tech. Foul coming up against the Seminoles. It's going to be on Mills. Coleman's pass was tipped. Mills up ahead. Collaborates with Green, who lays it in. Florida State by 9.
No matter who you root for,
30 protecting the paint.
Well, and, you know, Miles Kelly was at the top of the scouting report for good reason, and he showed Florida State why in the first 10 minutes, 6 of 6 from the floor. Since that time, they played a little bit more closer attention to him. He's missed his last 5 shots, Tom, and they've really cooled him off.
Coming off a 20-point performance in the win on Wednesday against Miami for Miles Kelly. As Mike mentioned, made his first 6 shots. Still the leading scorer right now with 16. He and Terry are in double digits, but he's missed his last 5. So all of those points in the first half from Miles Kelly, sophomore from Stone Mountain, Georgia. Another steal. Mills hands it off to Green.
What I tell you about that first basket, Tom, and things have really opened up for him. He got knocked down the jump shot, got a layup in the open court, and now he feels back in rhythm.
Green hits his first 3 of the game. That's now 44 made threes. He leads the team. Georgia Tech turns it over again. Worley goes in with the right hand, and a foul after the jam.
My goodness, a couple of really loose possessions, and how about right into your living room? Jalen Worley.
Over Lance Terry. Georgia Tech, by the way, Mike, just took its last time out of the half. Florida State on a 9-0 run.
And it's been live ball turnovers, exactly what Josh Pastner is worried about. And just very loose with the ball, and that's as good a finish as you're going to see.
High-flying Jalen Worley. The 9-0 run over the last 2 minutes and 18 seconds. Georgia Tech turning it over 3 times in this half. And Coach Pastner had to take his timeout. You want to stay tuned for the Ford Fast Break. It's presented by your local Ford dealer, and it's coming up here in the second half, starring Mike Jaminski. The star of that last play was Jalen Worley, sophomore from Mount Airy, Pennsylvania, has the crowd up and out of their seats here in the Tucker Center.
You know, and we saw that highlight of the 21 ACC with nobody in the building. We called some games like that during COVID, and a play like that we just saw would not precipitate a timeout because there was no reaction at all. It was such a weird time, but that's exactly the type of play that, as a coach, you want to calm down. And Josh Pastner's new philosophy, I mean, he's going to burn his timeouts if he feels like he needs them.
Especially for Florida State on its home court. 62% on the season from the stripe, Worley. Florida State in the second half, Mike, 7 of 13 from the floor. Georgia Tech with the basketball now. They are just 1 of 8 shooting in the second half so far. Green picks up the foul. First for him. All of his points coming in the second half. 7 points for Green. Just knocked down a 3 moments ago. He's the best three-point shooter on this Florida State team. Lance Terry with the ball has 10. Following up his 24 against Miami, and he goes by McLeod.
And it's, you know, they're going to switch. Florida State switches a lot, and you're going to find matchups like that. But still, that's pretty aggressive take on the left hand off a guy who's 7'4".
Terry's 24, the most by a Georgia Tech player this season. Worley, quick first step around Kelly, and the kick around. Taken by Smith on the turnover. 2-on-1 with Coleman. He'll try to do it himself. Offensive foul. And that was Green who had the position.
Here's the look, and this is, you know, that's a big defensive play to make because it looked like Georgia Tech trying to make a little bit of a run to get back in the game. A basket there, cut it down to 11.
So Coleman to the Josh Pastner bench. And again, that shooting has just cooled. They were 8 of 9. They'd made 5 3-pointers to start the game. Coach Pastner couldn't look for a better start to the game. Mike, right now he's feeling a little differently with 12:30 to go in the second half.
Well, you know that's not going to keep up, but still to plummet to where they've gotten is that's a pretty steep decline.
Worley with the jumper. 52% as a team in this game for Florida State. That includes 7 of 17 from three-point distance against the top defensive team against the three-point shot in the ACC in Georgia Tech.
Yeah, and if, in this day and age, if you're going to defend the three-point line, it's a good place to start. But Smith, a nice answer.
House with the ball. Cleveland, 19 points. Leads everybody with those 19. Corin back iron. Cleveland wanted it. Bit of a push off. So the foul against Cleveland. How about Jalen Worley? Just doing it himself. Individual effort over Lance Terry for the jam. And the Noles have the 57-44 lead.
Aw, I love to have one of my own.
The Tucker Center. It's tough on the opposition, especially in the ACC, Mike. The last 7 seasons at home for Florida State, their record is 51-6, and they've got the lead 57-44.
And 4 of those losses coming in 1 year. So they had 4 seasons where they were undefeated here at home against ACC competition. So this is a very, very difficult place to play.
2017, 2020, undefeated home records for the Seminoles here at the Tucker Center. Opened up in 1981. Smith on the dribble. Smith had 2 Florida State players get tangled up. Easy layup.
And I thought Howard did a nice job, too, of sealing some guys inside.
Florida State 2-0 in ACC play at home. This is Green stepping into a 3. Mike, that was right on line with perfect rotation. We had a great look at it from courtside.
You know, that's the thing. And then he's up there and he forces a turnover.
Off of Georgia Tech.
Amazing what happens when you start finding the basket. But, boy, for Darin Green Jr., and that's what I taught you, know, for shooters, the one thing you can't do is stop shooting. You know, 05, 06, whatever you are, and you're going to find the range eventually. And have that shooter's amnesia.
He's got a couple of 3-pointers on 8 attempted threes. And he drives.
That's a distant memory the first half right now.
All of his points in the second half. For Green Jr., he's got 12. 5 of 12 from the floor overall after that driving layup. 45 made threes for him. That's the most on the team. Terry. Difficult shot attempt on the drive. Green had started this game 0 for 5. As Mike said, come on strong. Again.
Yep. Remember me? Number 22.
He's making the threes look like layups.
Ball from just off right of center, too. He loves that spot.
He's now got 254 made threes in his career, Mike, as a transfer from UCF. Foul on the attempted follow. That was Moore.
This is the spot that he's spent most of the time with at the half. And, you know, through this stretch that Matthew Cleveland's not been a huge part of it.
19 points for Cleveland in the game.
Smith a little gimpy. He's going to come out of the game.
Yeah, it was an awkward landing. In fact, you're talking about Cleveland, just 4 points in the second half as Smith goes to the bench. Immediately takes that right shoe off. And his teammate at the free throw line. Jalen Moore, sophomore from Birmingham, Alabama. Six points for Moore. He scored in double figures in 8 of his last 9 games. That includes 10 against Miami on Wednesday.
And we'll see. You know, they've got a lead, and they may get some people in at the end of the game. But it's pretty much been an 8-man rotation for Leonard Hamilton in this game, which is too shy of what he normally puts out there. You can count on 2 shifts of 5 players for him.
The dribble from Mills to shake the defender. Second chance. That's Cleveland offensive glass.
You know, you say double-double, you expect Armando Bacot to do it. You know, he's done it his whole career at Carolina, but they're starting to say the same thing about Matthew Cleveland.
Now 5 straight games with a double-double in his 3rd 20-point, 10-rebound game for a double-double this season.
Except for a couple of backdoor cuts, it's been just a lot of dribbling.
Terry going in.
Didn't quite have the ups that Worley did on the other end to finish.
Was Worley back defensively against Terry. And now Lance Terry has the rebound. Got nowhere to go against Worley. That's a pass in tight quarters and taken back by Green. Kelly with a tough pass. But couldn't finish it off. Leonard Hamilton telling Worley take a timeout. 8:09 to go on the game clock. Mike, the lead is 20.
Just like that. And Mr. Green has had a lot to say about that lead.
Mr. Green is red hot. 15 points and all in the second half, and he's made 3 3-pointers. Knowles by 20. It's time for the fast break. 67-47. Florida State, after leading by 3 at halftime, has taken complete command of this game. Takes us to our turning point, brought to you by Coyote Tractor in the second half for Green.
And it was all, this is the first shot that he hit of the game. And then it was, all right, I'm back again. You get an easy layup like this as his second shot, and he has just been knocking down threes right from that same spot on the floor. What a terrific outburst for him. He has really fueled this 28-11 half.
That'll do it. 15 points in the second half after going scoreless in the first half for Darin Green Jr. From Charlotte, North Carolina, Mike. He's got over 1,000 points in his college basketball career. Cleveland can't add to his total. That jumper would have tied his career high. Smith is back in the game, and that's a forceful move by Franklin to bend that rim.
Well, I talked about him. He's 6'7", and that's going to bring McLeod back into the game. But Franklin, very athletic. He's one of the best shot blockers in the conference, despite his size. 3rd in the conference.
Turnovers in this second half, a big story as well. Yep. 7 for Georgia Tech, Mike, leading to 14 points off of those turnovers for Florida State.
And I'm pretty sure most of those, if not all of them, live ball turnovers.
Corin, double team, knocked away. And unfortunately for Georgia Tech fans, Miles Kelly has sort of disappeared from the scoring column in the second half, Mike. Kelly just picked up the foul as well.
But the thing about Florida State, you know, for Kelly, 6'6", but they can counter with some really long defenders on him. And that's really seemed to bother him after the quick start that he's gotten.
All of Kelly's points in the first half.
They just challenged other people to step up and score.
They had 4 3-pointers in the first half, and yet to score in the second half with Corin at the free throw line. McLeod coming back in. He was a big factor in that first half, Mike, with 7 points. And the size.
Almost double his average, a presence on the defensive end of the floor. They were trying to move him out, get him involved in the screen, rolling away from the basket.
Again, this could be a history-making game for Florida State head coach Leonard Hamilton, and Smith was able to steal it back and attempt a 3. Long rebound to Coleman. Driving move by Coleman. Challenged McLeod.
One of the few times that Georgia Tech has been able to score off offensive rebounding.
Green in the first half was 0 for 5. He's in the corner. Cleveland was looking at him, decided to drive. And then Cleveland with a bit of an awkward landing. He'll trail the play. Kelly, 3-pointer.
You know, for Josh Pastner, he's got Franklin and Howard out there on the same, you know, to try to counteract some of that size for Florida State.
As we approach the 6-minute threshold, Mills up and under and in. Caleb Mills.
Beautiful use of the rim that time, going underneath and finishing where there was no shot blocker.
He's into double figures now with 11 points. 13th time this season. Double figure scorer. Kelly got in the way of Cleveland. No call. Trying to get it to McLeod. Foul prior to McLeod getting it and attempting the shot. Kelly went flying right in front of us. What a nice pass, too.
Right underneath. Nobody on the weak side. Good finish. Good concentration.
Looked like Green on the pass to Mills, and then he floated in there, rocked the baby to sleep, and then put it up on the rim. So Florida State, with almost 6 minutes to go, has already hit 70 points. They average 68.6 per game, and that's Smith in a conversation with the official. It's a brief one.
And see, and we're talking about Kelly too, but Lance Terry has also been really quiet for Florida State, or for Georgia Tech. I'm sorry, it's locked in on him.
Yeah, he has 12 points, but as Mike mentioned, relatively quiet. He was very loud on Wednesday. He was loud and rambunctious against Miami.
Yeah, when you're loud, you get the attention of the scouting report.
Wow. Darin Green, step off.
See, now, you know what? You're to the point you're not even thinking. You know, you're just in the, he's definitely in the zone right now.
Outlet Mills. Tried to serve it to Cleveland. It was knocked away by Terry. Good hustle to get back. And that is off of Florida State.
A little bit of a late pass right there. Here's the guy. I mean, you know, he's out. Now he's standing in the logo and taking shots.
Which, by the way, leads the league in logo size midcourt in the ACC. But even so, he was a good 3 or 4 feet behind the line. So you're talking 28 feet or so. Maybe not quite that far away, but still. Here's Coleman. He's got a 3. Towing the line.
Yeah, he got involved. He had a little floater right before that.
Cleveland with the basketball had his best game of the season against St. John's when he had 23 points and 13 boards, both career highs. Creeping up on those numbers today against Georgia Tech. McLeod the miss. Coleman again. 4:20 to go in the game. Georgia Tech just 30% shooting in the second half. Florida State up near 54%. There's your difference right there from the floor. Coleman trying to work that baseline. Cut off by the defending of Cleveland. Terry trying to beat the buzzer. It is a shot clock violation.
Yeah, this Florida State just so much more active defensively since about the 10-minute mark of the first half.
The Noles in command of the visiting Jackets with just under 4 minutes to go.
At Domino's, we're tipping you $3 for being the
Seminoles in control of this one for head coach Leonard Hamilton. Coming up later, Clemson and Pittsburgh are going head-to-head, and they are both undefeated and at the top of the conference standings.
Yeah, and it's, you know, Hunter Tyson has been a big, big boost for Clemson and him coming back. And then, of course, Blake Hinson is having a terrific season for Pitt. Pitt started 1-3 this year and made a miraculous recovery from that. Got some big wins over North Carolina and Virginia. But, hey, kudos to both of those, you know, best starts since 1997.
We saw Clemson get a home win against Wake Forest, and Coach Brad Brownell has his team undefeated, and Pitt, since they joined the conference, their best start in ACC play. Clock ticking down on this one, Mike. It was all Georgia Tech to start this game. About midway through the first half, Florida State took control, and they've got a vice-like grip on Franklin at the other end.
He's had some pretty nice moves the last couple of possessions.
Smith with the rebound. Florida State, despite the alley-oop, as Franklin throws it down, is on his way to its 4th straight win against Georgia Tech in this series. At home, on their home court. Georgia Tech had actually won 3 in a row in the series, including, Mike, that 21 title game in the ACC tournament.
Well, Leonard
against
Hamilton,
Florida State.
Yeah, Leonard Hamilton told us yesterday that he felt like this team was. He said, I got a feeling my team's going to shoot well tomorrow. And he was right on the money.
Now Terry just hit a 3. Can't count Georgia Tech out just yet. 14-point difference. 2.5 minutes to go.
And Leonard Hamilton wants a timeout to talk about things.
Maybe that might be the theme of the conversation. So while we have a moment after the timeout by Florida State, Matthew Cleveland's day, 21 points, 12 rebounds. So he's 2 points short of his career high in scoring and 1 short of his rebounding career high. Set both of those numbers against St. John's
you know what?
earlier this season.
Just, I mean, very understated. 21 and 12 for him. Just very efficient, very businesslike. Just took what came to him offensively. I mean, Worley, you know, had the real loud dunk, and Green is bombing threes. But this guy's just getting work done. You know, again, mid-range game. How often do you see that now in the college game? But that's what he's about. He's knocked down a 3, though, but can really figure out ways to get the ball up on the rim inside.
That's why he is our Hardy's star to watch. Coach Hamilton wants to solidify that 600th career victory, and it would be the 400th as an ACC coach for Leonard Hamilton, joining very elite company.
Are we closing in on the time? Maybe have this court named after him? Might be closing in on that.
I don't see why not, Mike. We were at Bobby Kremen's court on Wednesday. It's Jim Boeheim court at the Dome. Jim Larinaga maybe down at Miami at the Watsco Center. Just a thought.
Only Coach Smith has an old arena named after him.
That's true. Coach K. His name's on the court at Duke, obviously. Here's Green, who's had a robust second half stat line. Cleveland able to hang on to it. Shot clock's at 10. Mills got the defender in the air, sidestepping and missing. Smith. That three might have made it real interesting. And now just 2 minutes to go.
Florida State going to take this clock all the way down.
Score holds, and Florida State will be 3-0 in conference play on its home floor.
Yeah, and after a 1-9 start for them, find themselves 3-2 now.
Cleveland. A close-in chance to tie his career high as it bounces out. 21 points for Cleveland. That's the second half story right there for Miles Kelly. Looks like Smith might earn a trip to the free throw line. How about Kelly has still not scored, Mike, in the second half. We got more ACC action for you coming up tonight, 7:30. Check your local listings, game and time in your area. NC State against Virginia Tech.
And, you know, for Virginia Tech, I think the guy, when Justin Mutz has a big game, they play well. And I think he's going to be a big key for them tonight.
Virginia Tech trying to end a 3-game losing streak. Kevin Keats at NC State, 2-3 in conference play.
But a very loud win against Duke at home.
Blue Devils are 2-2 in conference play.
And then BC is giving them all they want right now.
Worley might have had the highlight of the afternoon, Mike, with that individual effort.
Yeah, I think it's definitely the highlight of the afternoon for sure. Or else you could throw a nice little package for Mr. Green Jr. in there in the second half.
And Worley with a soaring dunk in this second half. We're inside the final minute and deep in the shot clock for Mills. Terry on the run. Trying to go around Green, and he does, calculating the angle. Lead is 11. There's only 35 seconds on the game clock. Georgia Tech will not foul. Florida State overall in the game, Mike, 51% from the floor and a slight edge on the boards, 33-31.
Well, when they're up over 50% field goal shooting and shooting three the way they do, they're going to be awfully tough to beat anywhere, but especially here.
After that strong start for Georgia Tech, just 31% rest of the way, and it's Florida State from Coach Hamilton, 75-64. As an ACC coach, his 400th career win, and overall career win number 600 for Leonard Hamilton.
Yeah, and you know, I made mention of his age, and we joked about it yesterday, but he looks, that's as young as